Top 5 Creepy Mysteries from the American South. At the point when you think about the American South, pictures of the Texas barren wasteland and down-home music verses may very well fly into your head. You may likewise muse over country tunes, stunning state parks, school b-ball, and Elvis Presley songs. The states that make up the American South have a great deal to offer residents and vacationers the same. Remembering incredible riddles to contend about for cold evenings around the pit fire. The world is loaded with beasts, genuine and non-existent. Once in a while, it is hard to discern whether an animal is genuinely awesome or in case you're confusing a normal creature with something enormous. Such is the situation in West Virginia, where there have been a few reports of mean-looking animals wandering the forested areas. A few people portray these mammoths as humanoid. Others guarantee that these beasts have cat-like, dog-like, or even evil highlights. In the mid-1990s, there was a whirlwind of sightings in Boone County. The animals were given the name White Things due to their long, filthy, white hair. More subtleties recommended that the white things had paws, resembled sulfur, and ran incredibly quick on two legs as per a few reports. Much creepier, their calls, or more precisely, their shouts were said to seem like those of a lady in distress. In 1994, a Navy sailor detailed having seen a white thing in the timberland. It went through the trees and afterward drank from a stream. That equivalent year, two kids saw a comparative animal while they were playing in their yard in Boone County. In 1995, a couple passing through Boone County detected a white thing sitting inside a discard along the street. After the pair left the vehicle to get a more intensive look, the beast jumped up and hopped on their vehicle. Fortunately, the couple had the option to get once more into the vehicle and drive away after the monster bounced off and vanished. Sightings proceeded until 2015. Be that as it may, the specific idea of the white things stays a puzzle. The Delta Queen is a masterful old stern-wheel steamer worked during the 1920s. During World War II, the pontoon shipped injured warriors to different medical clinics. Afterward, it turned into a recreation pontoon. In June 1985, Myra Fruger, one of the representatives of the Delta Queen, got a call from cabin 109. The inhabitant was an older woman who requested a sweeping since she was freezing. Myra sent Mike Williams, the main mate, to help the old woman. After Mike set off for the lodge, Myra admired see a face gazing at her from the deck. Trusting it to be the lady from cabin 109 meandering about searching for a sweeping, Myra went out to support her. Be that as it may, she was unable to discover anybody on the deck. Simply at that point, Mike returned. He said that cabin 109 was abandoned. As Myra strolled back with Mike, she saw a picture that had been on the boat from the start. Abruptly, Myra understood that the lady in the representation was a similar woman who had been taking a gander at Myra from the deck. Mary Green, some spell it Green, had been accountable for the Delta Queen in 1947 at age 79. She passed on in cabin 109 only 2 years later. Myra and Mike became hopelessly enamored and hitched soon a while later. They generally guaranteed that the soul of Mary Green played relational arranger. Be that as it may, regardless of whether they genuinely experienced the phantom of a long-dead older lady in 1985 stays a riddle. On February 27, 1971, 35-year-old Donald Childs looked forward in fear as he grasped his chest. He was having a respiratory failure as he watched a stunning animal scrounging around in his front nursery in Lawton, Oklahoma. The animal took after a canine humanoid figure and was drinking water out of Donald's fish pond. Luckily, Donald endured the coronary episode and was discharged from the emergency clinic following 2 days. He at that point answered to the police what he had seen, a humanoid beast, with hair over its face, that was wearing different layers of dress. Before long, more reports followed. Individuals called the police in alarm, professing to have seen the animal running down streets and roosting on condo railings. The animal, presently alluded to as the Lawton Werewolf, additionally ran right to Fort Sill. There, a gathering of men experienced it. Hypotheses for the sightings included individuals sprucing up in furry suits as a deception. Some don't accept this, since one of the reports asserted that the animal endured a 5-meter (17 feet) bounce from a high-rise. Others accept that the animal might be all the more a Bigfoot than a werewolf. In any case, the riddle remains. Safe House Beach Road leads from digs toward a 50 section of land, woods and marshland zone known as Old House Woods. The woods has a rich history, including that of the unpleasant assortment. It dates to the 1700s, when troopers and privateers took shelter among the thick greens. Inside Old House Woods stood a Franny night house. It had gained notoriety for more than once setting itself ablaze and afterwards stifling the burst all alone. In the end, the house caught fire. The reason for the flames remains unexplained. In 1929, a man by the name of Jesse Hudgens detailed that he had been strolling through the backwoods when a gathering of men with gleaming lamps moved toward him. At the point where they approached, Hudgens saw that they were skeletons wearing an old protective layer. Hudgens likewise guaranteed that one of the skeletons undermined him with a sword. Another guest had some misfortune when his vehicle stalled in the Old House Woods. He additionally professed to have been drawn nearer by a skeleton in protective layer. The skeleton inquired as to whether the street was the King's Highway and said that he had lost his boat. The guest changed direction suddenly and fled. A lot progressively unexplained occasions have occurred in these woods, including coasting lights, ghostly figures showing up and vanishing, and blackout hints of gun shootout yonder. This has made the Old House Woods become known as one of the most spooky timberlands in America. In 1804, John Bell moved his family to Adams, Tennessee, and chose 300 sections of land. They lived there joyfully and calmly for a long time before the difficulty started. It began as any old frequenting, with entryways pummeling, strange sounds originating from inside the dividers of their home, and chains shaking out yonder. At that point an odd creature, something between a hare and a pooch, appeared at the Bell place. Unexpectedly, the paranormal movement kicked up a few indents. John's little girl endured the worst part of the unusual quality, with imperceptible hand-slapping and squeezing her until she was beat up. After an advisory group was shaped to explore the Bell home, the element uncovered its name to them: Kate Bats. Obviously, Kate used to be a neighbor of the Bells. She felt animosity toward John Bell and his family as a result of business bargains turned out badly. Kate promised to torment John and his family. In 1820, John was harmed, supposedly by Kate, who was then otherwise called the Chime Witch. The Bell Witch story is apparently the most popular paranormal secret in the American South. In 2015, a visionary from Mississippi guaranteed that she knew reality with regards to the Bell Witch murder. She affirmed that Betsy Bell, John's most youthful girl, had appeared to her and disclosed to her that John had been harmed by a slave. We may never know whether John Bell truly was harmed by a slave or killed by an immaterial frighten. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked the video.